Aloha and welcome back. Today is going to be part 2 of the card series for the Simon Says Stamp June card kit. I'm going to start off with card number 4 here. So I'm taking one of the papers from the paper pack that came in the kit. This one has a hot air balloon. And I'm going to take my quickie glue pen and just trace along the lines, adding some silver foil to that. And I'm going to take a stitch die cut and cut out a panel here. And then also taking from the leftover cardstock, I cut out 2 stitched cloud die cuts. And there are some clouds on the paper design here, so I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a 3D pop. So adding some foam tape to the back of these die cuts, and I'm just gonna place them over the clouds that are on the paper here. Okay, so placing both of those there. And then on the side, I did do my sentiment. I cut, I white heat embossed on black cardstock love and hugs. And then cutting that into a fishtail, adding some foam adhesive and attaching that to the card at the bottom right. I'm going to cut off the excess from the clouds here. And then I'm going to take the Wink of Stella and I'm going to be adding some shimmer to the flowers in the hot air balloon. Okay, and then I'm just going to add some shimmer as well to those cloud die cuts. All right. Really simple card. And then I'm going to be using the smoke cardstock that came in the kit. Oh, actually, sorry, I used white cardstock. Sorry about that. And here is a still shot of the card. And that takes us to card number 5. So card number 5, I wanted to use the stamp set that came in the kit. So I am stamping the 3 flowers, the 3 like single flowers, onto some gray cardstock. I'm going to be gold embossing them. So here I'm just adding some Simon Says Stamp gold embossing powder. I'm going to heat set that. I love watching embossing powder when it gets heated. And then so I cut them up into pieces, and I'm gonna be adding some Distress Oxide inks, and I wanted to do a fast coloring on them, and I wanted to do it on a colored cardstock, so that's why I chose the light gray cardstock. So here I'm using the Broken China Distress Oxide, and I wanted to do kind of like a gradient, darker on the top and then going into a lighter on the bottom. So here just applying some color. Really trying to concentrate on making it like a lot darker at the top. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to some squeezed lemonade. And then doing the same thing, I'm just going to blend it from the top part, and I wanted to make it focus the color mainly on the top and then bring it down to a lighter. And I think on this on camera it didn't show too much that it was lighter at the bottom, it kind of all looks like one color, but it is a little lighter on the bottom. And then here I'm just going to take a microfiber cloth and I'm just going to rub off any of the excess, like the oxide ink that got stuck on the embossing, and it really brings out the embossing powder there. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to worn lipstick. Yep. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same process here as well. And I think it's because of like the climate and the humidity that we have here that my my ink pad's always, it's really damp, like it's got a lot of water on it, or so it comes out very wet. But oh well, it is what it is. So I just fussy cut those out. And then using the Tim Holtz embossing pad, I embossed some white cardstock. I did spritz it with some gold spritz because it, the paper needs to be damp to go through that 3D embossing folder, or it will rip and tear. So here I just let everything kind of sit overnight because I needed that piece of cardstock to dry really well. And then I'm going to take my pieces and kind of arrange them where I kind of think I want it to go on the card. So here, using more of that light gray cardstock that I used for the flowers, and I'm going to use it to back my focal piece on. And I stamped out "You Are Loved" in worn lipstick, and then I colored it in with some white colored pencil. So adhering the embossed piece to the cardstock here, and then arranging my pieces, I'm going to be using some liquid glue and attaching them to the embossed piece there, and making sure that I have everything placed where I wanted it to go. And then the blue flower, I'm just going to attach some foam squares. And then I'm going to take my sentiment strip, and I wanted to make sure that I placed everything where it needed to go. Adding some liquid adhesive on my sentiment strip, and then just pressing everything down. And I cut off the excess for the sentiment strip. I added a gold heart thicker and some clear Nouveau drops to the word loved. And that is card number 5. And here's a still shot of the card. And we're going to move right into card number 6. Now I wanted to use this, the watercolor piece that came in the card kit, but I really didn't like that saying on the side because here we don't really get snow, so but I really liked the flower piece on the side, and I wanted to use some of the watercolor samples that came in the kit. So sorry it's off camera, but I am like mixing the colors. It comes with the red, the yellow, and the blue. So I mixed the red and the blue, and I made this like a light purple shade. And this is really, really fast, really easy watercoloring. I just laid down some color. I wanted it to be a really light watercolor piece, so it's really pastel looking. So I'm just going to add the purple shade to a couple of flowers here. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to a corally color. I mixed the yellow and the red together to make like this really light coral color. All right, and then I wanted to do a little bit of a yellow, like a more little deeper yellow than the bright yellow that I had there. So I mixed a little bit of red, little less red tone into the yellow. And then trying to get the red to come out a little lighter to be more like a pinky color than a vibrant red. And I did mix the yellow and blue and make a like a green tealish color, and I colored the leaves, and then I did a real quick wash of the background there. So at this point I took one of the cardstocks that came in the paper pack, and I'm going to use the same wavy die and cut out a piece of this cardstock to match up with the watercolor piece. Okay, and then lining them up, I'm just gonna use a little bit of washi tape. I'm sure I could have avoided this part if I just used you know, liquid glue and attached it, but this worked as well. So I'm just gonna hold it down with the washi tape, and then I'm gonna attach that to my smoke card base, smoke colored cardstock card base. I'm just adjusting it there. Okay, and I'm going to attach that with some Be Creative tape. And then I have a sentiment cut out for you, and then I stamped from all of us. I added some sequins to that. And then here I'm taking my Spectrum Noir glitter pen, and I'm just going to color the die cut with the glitter pen here. Give it a little shimmer. Okay, and then from this point I did take my gold Nouveau drops. Oh, before I did that, I went in with my black Jelly Roll pen and I just colored in those little 3 dots that are on the paper. And then I went in with my gold Nouveau drops and added it to the centers of all the flowers there. Really subtle, super nice little detail, but it brings it all together. All right, and so that is card number 6. And so here's a still shot of the card for you. And mahalo for watching. We'll catch you next time.